Welcome to the Homeschool Together podcast. Where one working mom and a stay-at-home dad help you navigate the nuts and bolts of the growing and dynamic world of homeschooling.
With a focus on early learners, like me.
All the ins and outs of building and maintaining your homeschool life.
Homeschool.
Find out tips and tricks to make things like this easier.
I'm reading.
And ultimately, enjoy educating your kids. And what's that last thing?
Have fun together. Did I do good, Daddy?
Yeah, you did, sweetie. Good job. Hello and welcome back to Homeschool Together. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you head down into the show notes below. This is where all the links will be. This is our fifth annual Your Wallet is Crying holiday gift guide.
Well, and we have, we'll link the other ones in the show notes. Someday we're going to put out a website where they're all, put together, but that's probably not going to happen in time for this episode. But we will link the other 4 that we had. There's lots of great gifts, all the different categories. So you can say like, oh, I really want more art this year or whatever. We got you covered.
All right, we're going to hop right into it. Ariel, math. Everybody wants math.
So I'm looking at younger and older, just to give you a little preface here. And I'm thinking that younger is that kind of like 4 to 7-ish. And then older would be 8+. Now, these aren't strict numbers. You could, we have students that like things in various categories and stuff, but I wanted to kind of put something together for those of you who have some really early learners and some who have some older elementary. What could you look at? So this is an early learners.
So this is Learning Resources puts out a lot of cool things.
Just about everything they make is good.
It's pretty cool, yeah. So this is a STEM Explorers brainometry, and basically you're stacking based on some type of tiles, whatever, some type of challenge. You're stacking blocks, like kind of Tetris blocks. And yeah, I think the whole like if you don't choose this and you want to choose something else, the whole like Tetris balance, thing.
Well, it's the challenge thing, right? Where you have a challenge card and you have to figure out how to make that thing. And there's a variety of them. There's dog pile is one of them. Yeah. There's a bunch of different ones where you have to take shapes and make whatever the puzzle is. Yep. But I think this is a great one for the younger set, and Learning Resources does a great job. Great
tactile, kinesthetic learners, people who love the put their hands on things. Great for that like fine dexterity motion, the pincer grip type of stuff. So definitely something that you can play pretty young. Next one is a game that our friends brought over.
Yes.
That we fell in love with.
For older students.
But this is the Odin card game.
Mm-hmm. And this was really fun. You're basically you're playing cards, and it's a math game because
it's a Nordic theme.
It's Nordic themed, but when you play a card, then you have to play
a number that is bigger than it. So if you played 87, you could play 89, or you could play 879 and different place values, and it forces you to spend cards, and then you're trying to build, and it goes around the table how can you beat the next person.
So it's a place value, and then there's a color aspect too. So let's say if I played 89, for example, the next player has to keep one of those cards, the 8 or the 9, and they have to build on it, but make something bigger. And so then it keeps going and growing until at some point nobody can beat that. It was quite fun. We played with both our kids, 6 and almost 10, and our 2 adult friends, and all 6 of us played and had a ball. So it was a really fun, just not super difficult, but kind of fun little twisty math game. And it was great for adults and kids. So
next thing we have here, the Sashibo shape-shifting box.
So I've never seen this before.
It's like a fidget toy.
I mean, yeah.
That's the thing that our daughter likes to do with the folded paper, and she does your fortune.
Oh, I don't remember what those are called.
Kind of has a little bit of that feel to it.
This is it's a fidget cube. It transforms. So it's got these rare earth magnets in it, and you can make 70 different shapes with this cube. So it's a real sensory toy. It kind of unfolds, and you can twist and change. I know there's the fidget cubes that I printed for the other day to kind of like play, where it kind of folds in on itself. And this kind of has that, where it has this like fractal element to it, where you're unfurling it and rebending it and reshaping and putting new pieces together, and those bend together. It has like a magnetile element to it. So if you have a learner who loves it, kind of like that magnet, snap, build, twist
play type of enjoyment. And you see these kids who really love this stuff. And this may be one of those things that might help your learner really enjoy, playing with shapes and kind of exploring that.
Yeah. And so if you're going to be doing more complex, fractal type shapes and things, you'll have to just click on the links. You can see we're probably not describing this well. Yeah. I was amazed at how many different shapes you could make with this one box because of the magnets. So it was so cool that I thought like, ooh, we got to talk about this for math. Yeah. So, it's hard to come up with something for math that's, entertaining but also educational. Yeah. So these are kind of math light.
Hopping into ELA reading and language arts, obviously a big thing we always like to do. This is something our youngest got into. We didn't get these as much, I think, for our oldest, but we got them for our youngest, which was the Leapfrog Leap Start set, which is the kind of the fold out.
It's electronic
thing where there's readers and then activities.
You put the book into it and you have a little pen. And as you go through with the pen, you interact with the book. Like you download the book to the thing, but you have a physical book that's inside this electronic pad.
Yep.
The reason that I put it here for reading in ELA is they have couple different volumes of learn to read books, and our daughter has the first set of that and she really loves it. So you use the pen and you go through and it sounds out words and helps you with them. And so if you're working on something for reading that you want something interactive that's screen free, this is a really nice option for that. And then there's all kinds of other books you can get too. There's ones on shapes and there's logic puzzle ones and a lot that include famous characters. Our daughter has like a Paw Patrol one and a princess one. And so there's a bunch of really great stuff that they make for Leap Start for a variety of subjects. But I thought the reading thing was really cool because you can bring in, all of these different books to help augment your reading, but you don't have to do it with a screen.
Absolutely. Going more towards older learners, if you have a learner who likes to kind of explore or play with language or words, sort of like Lego blocks or kind of fill in the blanks, we have two recommendations here. The first one is the magnetic poetry, which is essentially just a bunch of words that are magnets. You can almost imagine how we used to have like the letters on the fridge.
The ones you see on everybody's fridge. Yeah, that's basically what they are.
But here, what you're able to do is you'll be able to take them and actually build your own poetry. Sometimes it can be a little silly. Sometimes you can be more intentional. But if you have a learner who just likes to sit and just kind of like grab at things and kind of play with it.
Or leave funny phrases on the fridge, right?
Our daughter who's a reluctant reader, would find this to be fascinating because it's the fact of creation. I've always found, and I'm leaning more into this now, is that she likes to create when it comes to words and writing and things of that nature. She will explore and have fun playing with words and actually do more reading that way than I would have ever, had her do if it was just like a simple reader or asking her to do a writing, exercise. She will play with words more than she will just sitting there reading. And it's something that this may be something interesting. We may want to get this for her because I've noticed her just kind of like looking and almost doing puzzles. Because every morning she wakes up, she plays Free Cell on her. She has like a lap pad in her bed, and she plays solitaire and Free Cell
while she listens to audiobooks.
So she likes playing with like words and numbers and stuff while she's doing other things. I think this might be a cool thing for her.
Yeah, this is one of those things you see in all the movies or whatever. Everyone's got these all over their fridge, and I could see that like this needs to join our fridge as well.
Absolutely. And next one would be the Mad Libs. So this is just a simple book, kind of a workbook. Has whole paragraphs where you're being asked for nouns and adjectives and verbs, and then you go ahead and choose those, and then you go plug them into the text, and then you have a fun time. And our daughter just cracks up over these. She thinks it's hilarious.
And I think that lots of us have known about Mad Libs. I wanted to put it on there just because a reminder, because I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think about a 10-year-old, like this is like really prime time. And so there's some really great thick books. Like I think the one I included the link for was even more Mad Libs or whatever.
Is that the one we have?
Yeah. It's a really thick book.
It's really thick. There's a lot in there.
There's a ton there for like $10 or less. It's great. So they also have lots of themed Mad Libs, but I always kind of thought like, oh, like Mad Libs, yeah, fun, but it's really just more of an educational thing. Our daughter will sit and do them for fun all day. She loves Mad Libs. She loves making something hilarious. So there's tons of different types. Find one that your kids would be interested in, or just go for a general, like the more Mad Libs, and have a good time.
Another good one here, we're pivoting to STEM. This is something I know our youngest would love. For a long time, we had kind of that paint by numbers with stickers. I don't know if you've ever seen those. Super popular with our daughter. she would do it for hours. Definitely learned a lot of numbers with that, especially on the sticker ones that got into like the double digits and even close to triple digits. She just did this for hours. This is learning resources. Again, another learning resources STEM Explore Pixel Art Challenge. So basically there's a challenge and she's got to do pixel art with little cubes and to make the art from the challenge. This is something that our youngest, who is a firecracker, rambunctious, wants to move all the time, but will sometimes oddly just sit and do these super deep dives. And you just want to step back and say, I'm not touching that. And I'm going to let her run for a little while. And the sticker art she used to do, I think she would love this pixel art one. And she would just sit there and just solve them all. And really quick, just go up there, and just enjoy putting the blocks and doing the colors. You can definitely see this being something for a lot younger learner who's maybe learning their colors or learning to do color matching, but also for an older kid who has a little bit more of an art twist to them. And then once they get through all the challenges, you can definitely see them kind of exploring with the pixel art and maybe making their own. And then that can easily just step right into some of the online tools with computers that allow you to do pixel art of characters and small characters. And then maybe even to a little bit of MS Paint. And then you can obviously see from the future that they're just going to run off and be world-class, Pixar cartoonists after that. But definitely this is a cool like STEM art combo that I think would be a lot of fun if you have a learner who enjoys that type of track. And I know our youngest is that type of kid.
Yeah. The next one we wanted to talk about was this cool game that I found called Code Mars that was really highly reviewed by a few different sites. And it teaches about Mars, but it's also really more of an AI and coding type game. So it introduces kids to all kinds of different coding pieces like loops and functions and conditionals and writing algorithms and stuff, but through the gameplay. So it looked really fun. On the few sites that I saw discussed, it's brand new. So it's what it looked like anyway. But I thought this looked really fun as kind of a way to gamify coding, and it looked like it could start, I think they said age 6 and up. So I thought that looked really neat. So maybe check that out.
So for a little bit of an older learner, Discovery has a bunch of things where they'll have like projects. Same thing with Nat Geo. They have these really cool sets. Here we have this one. It's basically a 4-cylinder model engine.
Yeah,
and it's really clear cool and transparent, so you can definitely see the pistons moving. You can see the crank going. There's little spark plugs where there's LEDs, so they can really see kind of into the engine. So if you have a young learner who loves like dump trucks and all the model cars and all that type of stuff, and maybe has some interest in mechanical
this is definitely an older elementary because it looks like a pretty detailed model, so you probably want definitely 8+ on this. But I think it looks really fun.
But definitely a kid who can follow some instructions, maybe is doing Legos. This is definitely something for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Lego, I found this awesome Lego Technic Planet Earth and Moon in Orbit set.
It's so cool.
It looks awesome. We just finished studying space science, if you've been following our vlog. So I saw this and I was like, ooh, cool. Obviously it's Lego, which is great, but then it's also a moving model that you could display and learn from. And I thought that's awesome.
Absolutely. So moving on, a little bit of kind of nature, if you're looking to do more, if you are more of a outside nature loving family, this really cool thing called Green Science, Weather Science allows you to run science experiments. So if you're thinking about, okay, maybe I'm going to do kind of a unit study around weather science, maybe outdoor stuff, especially like end of winter, early spring, and seasons are changing, a lot of things are happening. Definitely a cool thing to kind of teach your learner a lot about like outdoor weather and experiments around that, and learning about the various aspects of meteorology.
Yeah, I thought the weather was kind of a cool thing to look at.
Yeah, something that like I haven't seen anything like this with respect to like weather science, because a lot of times you'll see like chemical stuff or maybe more engineering and physics oriented. Having something more like weather related, especially if you live in an area that has like a lot of maybe volatile weather, might be something that's interesting. I know in like Florida, when we used to live in Florida, the hurricane season was a big thing, and everyone became meteorologists, and we all paid attention to barometric pressure and all this type of stuff.
True.
And in some areas, the weather is an important thing. Like if you live on the coast, and the tides are very important. Or
you live in an area with lots of thunderstorms, potentially tornadoes. So there's some really cool weather science experiment kits. This is just one option,
Absolutely.
but there's lots of neat ones that you could take a look at.
The next one would be a glow-in-the-dark terrarium. Now, you can build your own terrariums, and whether it works or not, it's great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of YouTube videos out there. I know we put some into the biomes guide in our resource guide, so head down to the show notes. I have a link for that on our Gumroad page. But building your own terrariums is kind of cool, but sometimes we want to make sure like it's more of a fun aspect as opposed to like watching all the animals and insects die in our terrarium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a kit's a good way to go with this. It has all the components, and then you can watch the whole ecosystem progress, which is really fun.
Yeah, you can kind of decorate. It's almost like an art project in a lot of
It's
respect.
art and science. The next thing that I put on there, and the last thing for the younger learners, is this thing I saw called rocknoculars, which is really cool. So you can collect rocks. And you can put them, the bottom of this little canister has a spot to store rocks, but the top of it, you put the rock in and you close it, and it has magnified viewfinder, and it's not electronic. It's just analog, but I just thought it was really cool. So you could see rocks up close. And the fact that it was made for rocks, you don't have to hold the rock in your hand to look at it. You can put it in the thing and then focus on it. I thought that was adorable.
At our local fairgrounds, there was a giant rock show. It took me 20 minutes to get out of town this week. I was like, who are all these people?
Everyone's there for the rocks.
Everyone's there for the rocks. A little bit older learner here, we have a monocular. So not binoculars, it's monocular. This is a cool idea.
A monocular telescope.
Yeah, you can just kind of look through it and see off in a great distance. Right. I think it's a cool thing because the other night we were looking up at the stars, looking at the moon. There's some large kind of bodies that you can look at, like some nebulas and even galaxies and whatnot are pretty close to us, like Andromeda, and you can kind of zoom in on it and actually like. And
I'm not sure how well you could see the stars. I'm sure you could definitely see the moon pretty well. This was a lot of like if you wanted to do bird watching or anything, anywhere where you would take binoculars. I'm not a binoculars fan myself because I can never seem to get the eyes like positioned the right way so that both of my eyes can look through. I end up just closing one eye anyway. So I was like, well, why not get a monocular? And it has a nice, this one has a hand strap on it so that it goes around the outside of your hand so it doesn't fall off.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to go out bird watching or you want to do something else where you're going to hike and then see a view or whatever, I think this is a really fun way to go and would be easier to deal with than binoculars. It would be better quality. So.
Yeah, it's a cool idea. Now, moving on, we've talked a lot over the last few years is kind of these interactive globes.
Right. We had the Leapfrog interactive globe, I think,
which
last year.
Still,
our kids will love it.
Still, our kids jump on that even now to this day. Yeah,
right.
We've had them for a number of years now.
But this one is cool because it's an illuminated globe. So it's a regular globe by day, but then when you turn it on and turn the light out, it actually illuminates with all the constellations. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was pretty cool. Again, I'm thinking kind of spacey because we came off of space science recently. But I think that would be really fun to be able to by day you can see all the countries and all that stuff. And then at night you can see all the constellations. And I thought that was really pretty awesome.
So hopping over to music for the youngers. Now this is going to be...
No, listen.
This is a chuckle factory.
I need to apologize a little bit.
I've seen the videos of people using this.
So both of the things that I've put here are musical items that I think are interesting. One of them does have headphone plugins. The other one doesn't. But I was like, these are pretty cool. They're both electronic instruments. So the first one is an
automophone.
Automophone.
And it's the one where it's kind of like it looks
like a big note.
It looks like a note, and it's got the neck and the little top, and then the mouth
is like
at the
a
bottom.
Ball with
and
a big mouth.
You squeeze it and it opens the mouth and it makes a note. And where you place your finger on essentially the fretboard, it makes a different tone, and you can make.
We're gonna have to link a YouTube video.
I've seen some that are very funny.
We'll link a YouTube video in with this link because I watched some today because I was like, I've never heard what this sounds like.
It's very funny.
It's an electronic instrument, so.
Kind of makes that kind of like whining, wah, wah, wah,
anyway,
those type of noises.
There can be some fun stuff with this. It doesn't allow headphones to be plugged in, so just for what that's worth. But it's cool for younger children.
Definitely a gift for the other family across the street. Yeah.
For older kids, there's something called a stylophone. It's a pocket electronic synthesizer. I had never heard of these before. You can plug headphones into it, and you can play all kinds of different music on this.
This is something our daughter would love.
Our daughter would love it. You use a little stylus, and it makes the electronic synthesizer noise for all the different notes, and you can like slide your stylus around. There's lots of YouTube videos of people playing like famous songs on them and stuff, but it's really great if you have a kid who just... Both of these, I think, toys are great for a kid who just likes to mess around with music. And our daughter is like that. She loves to just sit and plunk out things on the piano without wanting to necessarily make a song that she's heard before. She loves experimentation. These are both experimenting type musical instruments. So
our next section here is cooking, practical life skills. The one here for the younger one is the Craftic woodworking building kit. Now, you can imagine like this is like the gateway into like before you start using any type of like even mild power tools, getting some wood that's already pre-cut, and you got to assemble it and paint it, and you can make different shapes and whatnot. You can definitely see this for like, a young 3 or 4 year old kid, and you want to do like a couple of these crafts over a couple week period. And
so I think a 3 or 4 if you worked with them, but you could probably, your 6 or 7 year old could probably do this on their own.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's already pre-cut, and they would include some paint in there. And I don't know. I think that kind of stuff is really fun because our daughter's always wanting to build something, but she's like, let's go get the lumber. And then you cut it out and you do all these things. I'm like, can we get something that's pre-cut? Pre-sanded.
This is great for you to get for, or have grandma or grandpa get for the house, so that this is something my mom and dad do, is they have a couple drawers that they open up, and it's all these like activities, and it's so many times that, we all know we go to like a birthday party and everybody gets those box things that all have like 7 or 8 activities you can do in them, and they're like a bead kit, or this one has like a kinetic sand thing or whatever. And there are all these experiments things, and you're building stuff. We all know these boxes. They're all at Walmart and Fred Meyer and all these other places, right? And everybody gives it. We all give them to each other for birthday parties. It's the go-to thing. This is the type of thing with this craft kit, or something like this, is a great thing for grandma and grandpa to get and put into the drawer. So when you're at grandma and grandpa's, or they're staying over, grandma can open up the drawer, pull out this kit, do the activity for a half hour, 40 minutes, have a lot of fun, put it all away, stow it. A month later, when the kid's back,
you make the next item.
One. Yeah. This is really great for like kind of a craft drawer. If you're looking for like that one-off thing to do, where you want to kill 45 minutes, or you want to occupy a young child in an activity, and then have something to put away and something to do later in the next time. Especially if it's something that is an interest, like grandpa likes to do woodworking. Sure. So my mom is a painter, and so she has a whole painting room, and the kids go and sit in there and they paint and they watch Netflix. And they all sit there at the table and they're doing paint work and they're watching shows, and they like, I don't know, Is It Cake? They're watching like Is It Cake? And then my mom pauses it and they go back to painting for 10 or 15 minutes and they watch Is It Cake a little bit more. It's very fun. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Yeah.
So that was our first one. Our second one, we've got a couple of cooking kits here, and they could technically be for younger learners, but I just thought that could go pear-shaped. So there's a real chocolate making kit, which looked really cool. So it's got the molds and everything, and shows you how you would form different types of chocolate candies and things. And I thought, I know it says like 6+, but I wouldn't put my 6-year-old in front of that. There'd be chocolate everywhere. Yeah. So I thought that looked really cool.
That 6-year-old. Our oldest, when she was 6, we could probably do it. But
right.
This 6-year-old, absolutely no.
So that's a fun one. And I thought it was cool because there's tons of cooking kits that are kind of cheesy looking, that this looked like a good quality one for chocolate making. And then there was another one that I saw from Master Chef Kid, or Master Chef Junior. It was a dumpling making set, and I put this in older learners because the flavors of the dumplings are a bit more sophisticated, and so maybe an like slightly older palate would enjoy that more. But all kinds of great cooking recipes, and then little dumpling forming makers, so you can make your own dough, and then you can make your own Asian dumplings, which I thought looked delicious.
Next one is art, but it goes right in line with your cooking, which is a edible craft cookbook, where you are you're making crafts with edible things like waffles or
Right.
crackers and stuff like that.
I thought our youngest would love this.
She would love that. She'd
Like,
make
let's
it.
do art, and then we can eat it.
This is great. Let's eat it now. But it might get a little annoying. Are we done? Can I eat it? Can I eat it?
Probably. But I was like, this is cool, right? How many times do we do crafts, and then what do you do with it afterwards?
Throw in the trash. Throw in the trash. Throw in the trash.
I mean, there's only so long.
into the trash. Into the trash. Into the trash.
There's only so long you can display
The
this
kids
stuff.
upstairs. Throw in the trash.
So I was like, oh, cool. If we could just make the craft something we could eat, well, then that's great. So I thought that was a fun one. And then the last ones for older learners, there's a really
This
neat...
is a cute one. I like this.
This is cool. It's called the DIY Make Your Mark hand lettering set. So it's not exactly calligraphy.
You can definitely see...
But I mean, it's similar, but it's,
Yeah.
you know...
You can see a 10 or 11-year-old like making their own birthday cards with this.
Right.
That type of thing,
It
right?
was really cool. So it's all to make your own, you know...
stencils, right?
Yeah, there's some stencils, but there's also brushes to make some fancy lettering and stuff if you wanted to do a birthday invitation or something else
a
like
thank you note or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
So it's hand lettering, and so it's a little bit different than a traditional cursive, and it looked a bit more accessible for kids, which is why I thought this would be fun.
Absolutely.
You know, it's getting really challenging here as we go through.
We've been running into this problem. It's like, what do we get? What do we get?
Well,
these
it's not
kids?
like they come out with that many new things every year. I mean, they do, but you know, we go to make this gift guide every year.
We're not buying the Switch 2, Ariel.
I know. There's been
Get a second mortgage on the house for that thing.
There's been there's so much great material in our past gift guides. If you haven't checked any of them out, definitely do.
Yeah.
It was hard to find areas we hadn't already talked about in previous years. But it's okay. I accept the challenge, and I will accept the challenge next year, and we'll keep going with this. But hopefully these are some new and maybe interesting ideas or things that you'd heard about but forgot about, and, you know, are remembering again. If any of these or anything else tickles your fancy, then click on one of those Amazon links. They're affiliates. They don't cost you anything, but they do help support our humble little show. So, but yeah, hopefully this gave you guys some new ideas for the holidays this year. And if you come up with some awesome new toy that's also educational, you drop it in the Facebook group. Let us all know about it.
Put it in the comments on the YouTube channel as well.
Yeah. We would love to hear about new and cool things.
Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time.
Happy homeschooling!